with a pro football beef because we've got some fresh Angus between active NFL players this week, and it's not just between any two dudes. I'm talking about beef between a $230 million alleged franchise quarterback and a member of the 2010s All-Decade team. But to set this all up, we've got to go back to that press conference. That press conference gem that Kyler Murray dropped on Sunday, right after the loss to the Chargers. Instead of taking responsibility for a critical fourth down INT, Kyler passed the buck once again, and he blamed it on the scheme. Your quarterback said that. Schematically, we were kind of effed. After that same quarterback threw a critical pick. Never mind throwing Cliff under a bus. He threw him under the bus, backed over him a few times, threw him off a cliff, and then went down and lit him on fire. Aaron Rodgers coming off the field and scolding Matt LaFleur like he's a child is one thing. But Kyler Murray coming off a critical pick late and saying that schematically we were kind of effed is something entirely different. That's different level material. I mean, that's an incredible quote for team content, but an absolutely terrible look for Team Cardinals, as if Team Cardinals could look any worse right now. So that was the quote that had people talking, including former teammate Patrick Peterson, who's got a pod with Darren McFadden, and they were discussing that very quote on All Things Covered, their podcast this week. P2, quote, Kyler Murray don't care about nobody except Kyler Murray. That's just a fact.
Kyler Murray don't care about nobody but Kyler Murray.
Quote, end of quote. Like, I didn't think it was possible, but I think the P2 just one-upped Kyler's we were schematically kind of effed when he said Kyler Murray don't care about nobody except Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray don't care about nobody but Kyler Murray.
I mean, damn, that's spicy. Spicy as hell. Because that's not just a high-profile, active player going in on an opponent. Peterson and Murray were teammates for 2 years. Peterson and Murray were Cardinals captains together. Now, I'm not saying that Pat Pete is Pat Perfect. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that Pat Pete is not guessing or assuming anything here because dude knows the vibes in that building because dude was in that building. Now, I'm not saying that he doesn't have an axe to grind, but I am saying that he was in that building. And he knows the vibes, and he's saying that the vibes are that Kyler is all about Kyler and only about Kyler. And the thing is, watching Kyler, listening to Kyler, it's pretty hard to dispute that, right? And this is coming from a dude who hyped him hard. And that dude is me. So at this point, how the hell can you not be alarmed about Kyler and his act? And it's got nothing to do, of course, with talent and ability. Nobody's ever questioned that. And nobody's questioning that right now. Not even Patrick Peterson. He's not questioning that right now. No one is saying he's not a baller. Nobody is saying he's not a freakish, one-of-a-kind athlete. However, many are questioning Murray's professionalism and his accountability and his ability to lead. And right now, those are all fair questions. And that's why he just got flamed by Pat Pete. Again, maybe Peterson has got an axe to grind with the Cardinal organization, or Kyler Murray personally, or both. But at this point, it is nearly impossible to defend Murray. You can't just dismiss this as one bitter ex-teammate with a podcast to promote. Not when you remember that Murray is the same dude who was totally humiliated this offseason when the team put in the first ever mandatory study clause into his contract. A clause that actually required him to study game material for 4 hours per week in order to receive a, quote, credit. A clause that actually said that he was not allowed to study while he was distracted by the TV, the internet, or video games. I mean, hell, I wouldn't even put that clause in my teenage son's contract. And believe me, he needs it. I should. I mean, it's something you would do to your kid, a teenage kid, right? They had to put a video game bit of language in my dude's nearly $250 million contract. Hugh Freeze's social media contract language cannot believe how absurd that is. Like I said yesterday, parental controls didn't want any of that. If you have to draw up a contract that includes language that says your new head coach and program leader cannot access his own social media platforms, then maybe you should probably stop drawing up that contract. Man, can't you just see Hugh like this, like in the facility, just Twitter searching himself? Obviously they can, or they wouldn't have put that in the contract. And if you have to draw up a 4-hour-per-week study clause in a $230 million quarterback contract, maybe you should be ripping up that contract too, especially when you still have years left on your current deal. But the Cards wanted the guy. They wanted the deal. They gave him what he wanted. And by the way, they even ripped that clause out of that contract. So where does that leave them? You would think that this would be the biggest wake-up call ever for Kyler. Not only a wake-up call, but a call to shut everybody up. A call to prove everybody wrong. A call to show I am that guy. That no one is more prepared. No one is more accountable. This is a guy who, or I'm a guy who owns everything. Leads from the front, puts the organization on my back. It's all bullcrap. You know, the type of thing that $230 million franchise quarterbacks do. But that's not what's happening. Far from it. No, what we have here is a bleep show. A 4-8 bleep show of a football team, and Kyler is blaming his failures on the team being schematically effed. And you've got a high-profile former teammate proclaiming that Kyler Murray doesn't care about anything but Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray don't care about nobody but Kyler Murray.
So let's just say this is not good.
Not good.
This is below not good.
Below not good.
This is bad. This is really bad. It's looking more and more like this train in Arizona is going to derail any second now, if it hasn't already, and it's going to cost guys their jobs. Because clearly Kyler is not doing anything to own it or defuse it. Not when he's clapping back on Peterson on Twitter the way he did. Kyler clapped back saying, quote, "This isn't true. You want some weird bleep at P2. You got my number. If you really felt like this as a, quote, big bro or, quote, mentor, you're supposed to call me and tell me, not drag me so your podcast can grow." End of tweet. I mean, like I said, this is some prime Angus beef. Problem is, he's not the only one saying it, my dude. Hence the study clause in your contract. And it doesn't really seem like Pat Pete sees himself as your mentor or big bro. It sounds to me like he doesn't like you at all. Hate to say it because this here has always been a huge Cardinals house. But that whole organization right now is, quote, already down. DeAndre Hopkins also tried to fight back on Twitter saying, hey, man, you don't kick a guy when he's already down. And notice that Hopkins did not say, Nuke did not say, what Peterson said is not right. He said, you don't kick a guy when he's already down. Seems to me the entire organization now is already down. Bottom line, I would tell, like, Jets quarterback Zach Wilson that he needs to take a hard look in the mirror, but I'm not sure that would even matter because I don't know if that guy can even play. But I know that Murray can. I know Murray can. I just don't know whether or not he's capable of doing the hard work on himself or capable of the self-introspection that he absolutely has to have right now. Kyler, my dude, this is not just one disgruntled former teammate coming for you. You are supposed to be a franchise quarterback, the face of the organization. You were drafted at the top of the draft to be just that guy. They're paying you to be just that guy. It is time to start acting and leading just like that guy. Stop blaming everybody else and start owning everything. Just because they can't fire you like they can other people, including the head coach, does not mean that you're not at a serious crossroads. You are. And if you don't know that, that means you're never going to figure it out. And the fact is, some guys never do.